the stars align. Kelly Coffee takes you on a ride divine. In her thought bubble we soar through the night, exploring the universe, our vision takes flight. The symphony of galaxies fills the air. Come with me, let's ride on the cosmic breeze. With Kelly Coffee we'll journey through galaxies. In her God bubble we'll explore the unknown, a grand adventure like no other we've known.
Hey guys, it's me, Kelly. Come on in and welcome to the God Bubble. Let's go ahead and do our disclaimer. I'm so excited about the show today, you guys. I'm so freaking excited because I'm going to be showing you something and revealing something to you that's been, I guess, a vision of mine for quite a while. So just read the disclaimer while we're chatting and make sure that you know this is just all my opinion. It shows for information, opinion, commentary, and personal research. Discussion only. It is not medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or instruction. I share information from many sources, including research books, personal observation, remote viewing, online searches, social media, conversations, and lived experience. Sources may be incomplete, mistaken, biased, outdated, or wrong. I may also misspeak or make mistakes. Use this as a starting point for your own research before taking any action involving food, supplements, cleansing, parasites, medication, testing, dieting, or health decisions. Research it yourself and consult a qualified professional you trust. Do not believe anything I say. Go do your own research. So come on in. And I don't know why you can't see me right now. What am I doing? Oh, never mind. I figured it out. I didn't click the button. Hey, come on in. We're going to be talking about the breakaway civilization, and at least what I'm looking at, I saw it. When I see something, I try to interpret it. I try to put my words to it. Try and figure it out. How do I put this together? Instead of just letting it form itself, I overthink it. But I've been seeing what I thought was possibly a university or a campus, something about learning. This is the way it was developing in my mind. And it could be that it's not even a university. It's just a community, but an organized community. A community based on all generations contributing. So, are you excited about this? I am. I'm so freaking excited about this. Okay, let's get comfortable. Go get some popcorn. Okay, don't eat popcorn. It's not good for you. I mean, do whatever you want, but don't eat popcorn. Go get something else besides popcorn. That, something maybe healthy snack. And let's talk about this. Okay, wow, that's bright. It's definitely bright. Let me find my email to myself. I put all the information in there. Here it is. There we go. Okay. There. So I am ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. We'll go find my pictures and then we'll get started. This is, as best as I could come up with, this is like a blueprint that I've had. And I was talking about everybody's got a blueprint. Everybody's got a blueprint for either like a society or a place for us to come together and live, seeing a world in a completely different way and interacting with the world in a completely different. So let me show you some pictures. I said AI makes some pictures for me of a breakaway civilization. Excuse me. And I'm going to be going through the whole plan. I'm not going to hold anything back. So now some of these pictures, it kind of looks like the same picture twice, only this one's more artistic and that was more less artistic or whatever. So again, this is AI. AI got stuck 2 times trying to give me the same thing. So just enjoy the pictures for what they are as I'm talking about the civilization. And if you don't like my pictures, you just make stuff up in your mind as we go along. You don't have to look. You don't have to look. So let's see. This is the busy version. And I said, AI, are you serious? Look how busy that is. There's stuff all over the place. But I'll let it sit here for a while we read it. Now, this is a working title, and I have not looked for, what's copyrighted, what's not. That's not the direction I was going. I just wanted to get the idea out. So I've got a working title of The Living Earth Project, a self-sustaining community built through learning, contribution, innovation, and regeneration. This is the working concept. The working concept. So here's the one that's not so busy looking. Okay. The Living Earth Project is a proposed large-scale self-sustaining community built around one central principle. Everything the community needs becomes something the community learns how to create. Housing is a class, water is a class, food production is a class, renewable power is a class, textiles, animal care, waste recovery, hospitality, engineering is a class, community care is a class. Participants do not sit in classrooms studying theories that may never be used. They learn by building, testing, operating, repairing, improving, and teaching the actual systems that sustain the community. The result is not merely an educational institution, it's a functioning civilization in miniature. A place where people build the knowledge, housing, food, energy, businesses, and social systems that allow the community to grow. Aren't you excited? Oh, you guys, I'm so excited about this. I'm incredibly excited. Here we go. The central vision. This is my vision. This is what I've been seeing for quite a while. The project begins on a substantial piece of land containing varied natural terrain, mountains, foothills, or elevated land, a safe and manageable river, stream, or year-round water source, areas appropriate for agriculture, areas suitable for renewable power, land for housing, hospitality, workshops, animals, food production, and research. Sufficient acreage to expand deliberately without becoming crowded. The project would grow in controlled phases. People would not simply arrive and establish an uncontrolled encampment. Participation would be structured around defined projects, training periods, work contributions, available housing, and the actual capacity of the land. Growth would follow infrastructure, not overwhelm it. So, there we go. What makes it different? Traditional universities charge people to study systems created somewhere else. The Living Earth Project allows people to learn by creating the systems they will actually use. A class on natural housing builds a home. A class on gravity-fed water creates a working water system. A class on hydroelectric generation produces usable power. A class on aquaculture establishes a sustainable fish habitat. A class on sheep produces wool. A class on spinning transforms wool into yarn. Weaving produces textiles. These are all classes. Design creates the packaging. A class on marketing sells the finished products. The education does not consume resources without producing anything. Education itself creates lasting value. I've been so excited about this project for so long, and now I get to share it to you. Now I get to share it with you, and your ideas might match these. Okay, this is AI's version of experimenting on a house. So this is not what I had in my mind, but what I'm looking at, we'll talk about in a minute, is we're not just going to copy what's out there. We're going to do a lot of experimenting and see if we can come up with a better way of doing something better, faster, and long lasting. So the community exchange model. The community would not be based exclusively on wages, tuition, rent, or conventional employment. Participants contribute through a combination of teaching, learning, building, growing food, maintaining systems, cleaning, cooking, laundry, animal care, hospitality, engineering, administration, design, manufacturing, repair, sales, and health and community support. A person who is highly skilled at laundry, cleaning, gardening, electrical work, cooking, accounting, animal care, organizing supplies is not considered less important than a person designing a building. Every functioning community depends on hundreds of forms of work. The goal is to match people with the work they perform well, while also allowing them to learn entirely new abilities. Contribution can offset housing. It can offset food, classes, community services, workshop access, equipment use, other basic needs. This creates a system in which people are not required to arrive wealthy in order to participate. The learning model. For you, those of you that are just joining, make sure you start from the beginning because I'm telling you all about the vision that I've had for a community based around the concept of a university, which is all ages, all skill levels, and the ones that are older, doing it like an actual community. The ones that are older and have lots of skills step in and teach the ones that are younger uh, for the purposes of eventually them taking over. Everybody's got their place in the community or in the university, however it is modeled. So here we go. This is the learning model. The project would use a four-part learning structure. Learn. Participants receive instruction from someone with practical experience. Build. The class creates or improves a real system. Operate. Participants help run and maintain what they constructed. And then teach. Those who become proficient can assist future classes and eventually teach the subject themselves. This creates continuously expanding body of practical knowledge rather than dependence on the original instructor. The senior sheep breeder teaches new participants. The participants learn breeding, health, feeding, shearing, and humane care. Other participants learn to clean, spin, dye, weave, knit, crochet, design, package, and market the wool. Each stage becomes its own learning program and economic activity. Yeah, exciting, you guys. This is so exciting. And again, I'm so sorry AI kept spitting out kind of the same picture over and over and over, but they're cool pictures. Phase 1, safe arrival and temporary infrastructure. The first objective is not architectural perfection, is to establish safe, sanitary, functional conditions from which permanent systems can be built. Initial infrastructure may include geodesic domes, high quality temporary shelters, shared shower and bathing facilities. You guys, this is the whole plan. I'm giving you the whole freaking plan. I hope this is exciting, and I hope you also have your own blueprint. So I was able to put this, man, I talked for a long time and gave AI a lot of information. And AI helped me to organize this. This is not ideas that AI had. These are all my ideas. AI just helped me to organize it in a way where we can talk about this. Dry or composting toilets where appropriate, central kitchens, potable water stations, laundry facilities, medical and safety facilities, equipment storage, workshops, internet and communications, fire protection, and emergency access roads. So this is at the beginning when we're first starting, and we're looking at depending on how we start depends on funding, obviously. So let's see, geodesic domes provide fast initial shelter, but are not wasted later, as permanent housing is completed. Like the Earth ships we're going to be making. The domes can be converted into greenhouses, nurseries, aquatic facilities, or I'm sorry, aquaculture facilities, poultry environments, seed storage structures, classrooms, workshops, dining areas, event spaces, controlled climate growing systems. Temporary infrastructure therefore becomes part of the permanent plan. So nothing's wasted. Nothing's wasted, you guys, and doing this in phases. Again, depending on funding. If there's a multimillionaire or billionaire out there that wants a tax deduction this year, this is the good one. This is a good one. This will help people. So phase 2, that was phase 1. Here's phase 2, the first Earth home. The first major residential structure could be a shared Earth home containing approximately 6 private residential units organized around a common central space. Each resident or couple would have private living quarters. The central space would include a larger shared kitchen, indoor food production, dining space, laundry, community gathering space, water treatment systems, passive heating and cooling components, shared storage, workshop or teaching areas. This first structure provides efficient housing for the initial building community. As individual homes are completed, residents can move into them. Vacated units in the original structure can become short-term guest accommodations, visiting instructor housing, researcher residences, educational retreat lodging, premium eco hospitality suites. The original community housing, therefore, involves a long-term revenue producing asset. So in all of these structures, you guys, I'm looking at this being sustainable. Oops. What did I do? You guys, I clicked the wrong thing. Am I still here? Yes, I think I am. Okay. Sorry about that. A new generation of Earth homes. The project should not merely reproduce conventional tire-based Earth ships. One of its first major research challenges would be, can a cleaner, modular, stronger, or more adaptable building system replace the traditional tire wall? Possible research areas include recovered industrial materials, recycled glass, composites. Hold on, let me find that picture again. Here's like alternative type. That doesn't look feasible to me, but that's what AI pumped out. Sorry. I know you guys have a much better idea than stacking, Lego style blocks directly on themselves without spacing them over a little bit. Recycled glass components, compressed earth modular blocks, hemp-based construction materials, agricultural waste components, composites, recycled plastic structural forms, mineral-based modular units, interlocking systems similar to large-scale construction blocks, materials currently filling landfills without productive reuse. The objective is not to select a material prematurely. The objective is to create an environment in which architects, builders, engineers, inventors, craftspeople, and students can design, construct, test, measure, and improve alternatives. You guys, this is going to be a place where geniuses can come and test out ideas. Isn't that cool? I mean, this is perfect for autistics, neurodivergents who are like, I see this house in my mind and it's constructed this way. You can experiment here. You can experiment like on a small shed and see if it lasts, see if it stands. We test it. New structures could move beyond the standard Southwestern adobe appearance and include more varied architectural forms. The community itself becomes a real world research and development laboratory. This is perfect. Perfect. Water systems. Water would be treated as one integrated system rather than a collection of unrelated utilities. Classes and infrastructure could include gravity fed water distribution, springs and stream management, rainwater capture, snowmelt collection, water storage, filtration, potable water treatment, gray water recovery, wetland filtration, irrigation, hydraulic irrigation controls, aquaculture, fire reserve water, emergency water systems, monitoring water quality and watershed health. Natural soaps and cleaning products could be encouraged so that properly treated gray water can return safely to growing systems or the landscape where legally environmentally appropriate. No system should be described as harmless without testing. Water, soil, plants, fish, microbial conditions would be continuously measured. Is this exciting? You guys, this is just freaking exciting shit. I don't know, probably just my opinion. Okay, now energy systems. Let's look at energy systems. The community would avoid dependence on a single power source. Its energy curriculum and infrastructure could include micro hydroelectric power, solar generation, wind generation, thermal storage, passive solar design, battery systems, mechanical storage. Let's see, biogas where appropriate, human-powered mechanical systems, experimental devices, microgrids, energy-efficient appliances, district heating and cooling, redundant emergency systems. Participants could develop smaller systems for individual homes while community-scale systems serve shared facilities. New ideas could be installed first as controlled prototypes. Results would be measured before broader adoption. Experimental projects including copper pyramid structures, seed stores. Well, hold on, let me get another picture. Where's my pyramid? Where's my pyramid? There we go. Pyramid store. I don't know if that's even feasible. So let's see. Experimental projects, copper pyramid structures, seed storage studies, unusual electrical designs, or alternative power concepts would be evaluated through transparent observation and testing rather than accepted or rejected automatically. You guys check that out. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. They can store stuff. That's not the best shed, I don't think. I think we could build a better shed. But think of putting all the seeds in a shed. Food production. Food production would combine outdoor agriculture, protected agriculture, perennial systems, orchards, and indoor growing. Potential systems include regenerative gardens. Let me see if I can find. Oh, no, sorry. Sorry about that. That's not where I was going. There we go. Water systems. Oh, here we go. That was a little cooler. That was a more awesome picture. So some of these systems can include regenerative gardens, greenhouses, food forests, orchards, hydroponics, aquaponics, indoor growing walls, mushroom cultivation, and this could be in the individual houses. Think about that. If you can create this any way you want, and you can create it in a natural way, you can create a cave, a nice, cool cave inside of your house and grow mushrooms. Oh my gosh, how cool is that? Create your own cave and your own system. Oh man, I'm getting so excited. We'll start today. Culinary and medicinal herbs, seed saving, soil rebuilding, compost production, pollinator habitats, 4-season growing, root cellar storage, food preservation, and community kitchens. Residents might harvest directly from designated areas or obtain prepared and stored foods through an internal market. The internal market provides convenience, inventory control, and fair distribution. Visitors and members of the surrounding public could purchase products using conventional currency, generating outside revenue. So, ethical animal systems. Animals would not be treated merely as production units. The project would begin by asking, what does this animal naturally need? Can the environment support those needs? What relationship can exist without unnecessary suffering? What useful products can be obtained without killing the animal? How will population, health, parasites, waste, shelter, and veterinary needs be managed? Possible animal systems include chickens, primarily for eggs and soil improvement, sheep, for wool and land management, goats, for milk, fiber, or brush control, bees, for pollination and honey, fish raised in carefully managed aquatic environments, working animals where genuinely appropriate. Any aquaculture system would require scientific design around species behavior, water temperature, oxygen, disease control, breeding, waste, habitat complexity, and carrying capacity. A salmon-like stream system could be a major research project, but the species and location would have to be selected according to climate, law, welfare, and ecological risk. So, are you guys excited? I'm freaking excited about this project. I can really stand it. You guys, this is freaking awesome. Oh, there's the one about animal. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I clicked that twice. I keep clicking the wrong button. I'm so sorry, you guys. Here we go. The community economy. The project is intended to reduce dependency on outside money without pretending that money's unnecessary. External revenue could come from eco-lodging, educational retreats, visiting student programs, professional workshops, excuse me, agriculture products, textiles, art, furniture, natural building materials, seeds and nursery plants, books and instructional media, licensing successful inventions, consulting, conferences, film and television production, research. Yeah, you guys, this can be just an ongoing reality show. Think about that. For social media purposes, what a cool reality show, which will encourage tourism and, people who might want to donate to what we're doing as well. So research partnerships, culinary experiences, public markets, membership programs. Yeah, think about this. We've got this wonderful community. We're growing our own food that's amazing. And then we have like a 5-star chef that comes and creates memories. Online courses, membership programs, documentaries, and streaming content. The internal community receives the benefit of the systems it operates. The outside public pays for products, accommodations, experiences, instruction, and intellectual property. This allows money from outside the community to support life inside the community. Also, we have hospitality as a revenue engine. You guys, we're going to have courses on hospitality. So, hospitality could become one of the strongest early revenue sources for the university. Visitors would not merely rent a room, they would experience a functioning model of a different way of living. Possible guest offerings could include private earth homestays, shared eco lodging, farm to table meals, guided infrastructure tours, workshops, mountain and nature experiences, demonstrations of water and power systems, seasonal harvest experiences, textile and craft classes, private retreats, access to chefs, instructors, or specialized programs. A premium visitor could receive a highly refined experience without changing the fundamental mission. The project should feel capable of hosting a student, a family, a researcher, a documentary crew, or a major benefactor with equal professionalism. And at the beginning, I didn't get this in the overall structure, but if there's ever any temporary housing that's needed, because we will have a sewage, type system, we'll have water and electricity, then we could temporarily bring, let's say, RVs in for living in the process. If ever we need, if ever we have a rush of people or something, we can, have part of it RVs or tiny homes temporarily. Again, stuff that you could use later. So let's see, community care and conflict. You guys, when you got a lot of people together, how do we get along? How do we get along when we've got a lot of people in the same place? So, community care and conflict, it's a big deal. The project would promote self-governance, personal responsibility, restoration, and early intervention. However, compassion cannot mean ignoring danger. You'll be safe here. The community would need clear distinctions between emotional distress, interpersonal conflict, repeated disruption, exploitation, violence, abuse, theft, coercion, immediate threats to safety. For ordinary conflict, the process could emphasize listening, restorative circles, identifying unmet needs, accountability, repairing harm, community support, and reintegration. For violence, abuse, stalking, predatory conduct, or severe threats, the system must protect the person at risk first. Love and healing cannot be used to pressure someone to remain accessible to a dangerous person. The goal is not punishment for its own sake. The goal is restoration, wherever possible, and protection wherever necessary. So we're going to be looking at the safety of all the people that are there in this community. Governance without a culture of control. The project should not revolve around the unquestionable leader. To prevent cult-like dynamics, it should establish transparent finances, written rights and responsibilities, independent oversight, multiple decision-making bodies, published conflict procedures, freedom to leave, no surrender of personal property as a condition of belonging, no forced belief system, no isolation from family or outside information, no leader exempt from accountability, clear protection against actual, financial, or labor exploitation, defined land use and housing agreements, a formal grievance and appeal process. A founder protects the vision. The system protects the people. And also, we're looking at controlled growth. There's no way that you can do this without controlled growth. Don't you agree? I think this is good. I've found in business, if you don't control your growth, it will get out of control. Like one of the biggest times that a business will fail is during a period of rapid growth. Because in rapid growth, there's some big decisions to be made. Oh, well, business has tripled. I'm going to go buy some more equipment. Or business has tripled. Let me rent the equipment until I find out, if this is going to be sustained or if, this is seasonal. Why did we have this rapid growth? Let me rent just in case we go back down to our original amount that we were making, and then if I'm renting it, I just give it back, and I don't have all this equipment that I'm still paying on. So controlled growth, that's very important. The community would expand only when it has adequate housing, adequate water, and again, we can bring in RVs and things like that for housing, uh, and immediately we would have housing. So adequate sanitation, adequate food, which would be established at the beginning before anybody gets there. Adequate food capacity, adequate supervision, emergency response, defined projects, meaningful work, and financial reserves. New participants might enter through a paid workshop, a short residency, a visiting instructor role, a skilled trade placement, a research fellowship, a seasonal contribution program, probationary community residency. So, no unlimited open camping, no unplanned population surge, no promise that attending a class automatically grants permanent housing. And the people who would build this, the people that would build this, the project would attract and require natural builders, architects, civil engineers. So these aren't just random people, trying to escape civilization. This is going to be a planned space, you guys, with civil engineers and architects, alongside natural builders, people who, instinctually know what to do, and they're more geared towards a natural way of structuring places to live. Electricians, plumbers, hydrologists. I didn't know this existed. I mean, I didn't know what to call them. Farmers, soil specialists, botanists, animal care professionals, veterinarians, textile artists. Think of this, retired veterinarians coming out to contribute what they've learned. Oh my gosh, they're retired and want to give back, to the community. Holy crap. Textile artists, chefs, hospitality workers, housekeepers. See, anybody. It doesn't matter what your skill level is. There's a place for you here. Mechanics, equipment operators, safety professionals, medical personnel, teachers. Like we always might have like a nurse on duty or a retired doctor or something. Teachers, researchers, designers, filmmakers, administrators, accountants, attorneys, marketers, and inventors. The question is not what status does a person have. The question is, what can this person contribute? What do they want to learn? And what can the community help them become? So, why a major funder would take this seriously. So, we're talking financing for this because it's time, you guys. It is time. Hey, Lorene, good morning. Ooh, this sounds awesome. Oh, girl, I don't know when you got here. But if you're able to start from the beginning, and I'm talking about the entire structure, this is so exciting. This is my vision of a blueprint of a community, again, structured in a type of university, for lack of a plot line for your community. Let's turn it into a university where everything that the university produces creates the community and everything in the community. Like what you're seeing right now in this picture could be a class project to have a larger building for community use, let's say. And look at this. Look how eco-friendly all of this is. There are so many ways that we could build structures. Oh gosh, Lorene, I have like butterflies inside. I'm about to like. Don't worry, I won't scream like until I mute myself. But I feel like screaming. I get so excited about this project, and it just builds up inside of me where I can hardly take it. I just get so excited. I just want to jump up and down and just squeal with delight. I'm sorry. Okay, I feel better. Sorry, that was a little autistic buildup that had to just be discharged to there. But check this out. This isn't the only way that the homes are going to be structured. We're going to have engineers on our team, civil engineers, and so forth. So, we're going to make sure these structures are sound. See, why a major funder would take this seriously. You okay, puppy? You okay? Okay. This concept should never be presented as a plea for rescue. It should be presented as a credible opportunity to create permanent infrastructure. So this isn't just, we're going to, escape civilization and so forth. No. This is permanent. We are building a new civilization. We're not just doing the best we can, Little House on the Prairie, escaping society. This is on purpose. We are coming together and creating, not running from and fear from. So somebody, a multi-millionaire, billionaire, again, if you want a tax write-off, this is the best place to do it. Get the infrastructure in place. So permanent infrastructure we're going to have. Replicable educational model. In other words, this is repeatable. New sustainable building technologies, and we're going to be experimenting. We may or may not come up with something new, but we're going to do it. You guys who are inventors, and it's like, I've got all these ideas of how to structure a bridge or structure a home, but I don't have the land or the resources to do it. We will develop a class around that. You guys, this is going to be whatever we decide it to be. We'll create a class for it. It doesn't have to be a structure. And then if those needs are met, we don't need that class anymore. Maybe for maintenance. Or maybe, okay, we're going to expand now. Let's bring that class back. We'll do a class on this expanding, whatever the concept is. And then when it's finished, the class is over. and we've learned. So again, it's kind of an excuse to have a plot line for a community and treat it as a university or a place for instruction. So it allows space where you've got a society that's been separated. Go to school when someone who's exactly a certain age teaches you, and that's it. And instead of in the olden days, the community would come together, and it didn't matter what the age was and skill level. They all came together. Like if your family gets together, okay, maybe that's not the best example, but people get together for an event, and then let's say at this event you're going to be serving food. People arrive and go, "Hey, I'm good at chopping vegetables. I'm going to go in the kitchen and see if I can help somewhere." And someone else is like, "I have no kitchen skills, but I can put up all the table and chairs and set all those up and have those ready and put." And everybody finds something to do that they're either good at or capable of doing when a group of people comes together. And you don't necessarily have to be someone's like, okay, who's going to chop the vegetables? Who's going to do this? You come in, you see a need, you go and fill in wherever that need is. And suddenly you've got a big group of people that are functioning well at an event, and they all came not knowing that they were going to be doing something when they got there. And they all filled in with their talents and skills and abilities and their capacity. That's similar to what we're seeing here. We're coming here. What kind of community do we want? Well, let's make a class and build it. Hey, how are we going to support this and make it sustainable? Well, the class on sheep, we're going to have an end product that we're going to sell that will bring money in basically to pay for the class. It pays for itself. It's sustainable. Oh my gosh. Oh, Lorene. The way life was meant to be. Very cool. Yeehaw. I love it. And Lorene, this is not just kind of finding yourself in the middle of the woods and, climbing a tree and being one, with nature and all. This is a combination of technology and nature, and how can we work together? How can we work together, not fight each other? That's the way I see it. Okay, here we go. Let's see. New sustainable building technologies, intellectual property, ethical agricultural systems, a destination, a research campus, hospitality enterprise, a media property, a measurable social legacy. A sustainable funder would not merely be donating to temporary relief, they would be helping establish a working prototype that could influence how future communities are designed. In other words, this is all a big experiment, and everybody in it is on board with experimenting. Like all of us are not going to go in there and expect it to be just one way, because we left a civilization that didn't make sense. It's going to take time living there, and then here come all of these wonderful ideas. Like, oh my gosh, what if we structured a civilization this way? I think it would flow better. Because what we've got, if this is going to be autistic people, we've got 200 plus IQ all over the place. So we're looking at a legacy, building a legacy that has a measurable impact, innovation, and permanence. So, okay, this is the show. Hold on. This is the show I was developing around a. Let me see if there's anything in here that's worthy. Show. Let me spin past that. Here we go. Thumbnail. And the show. Hold on. Let me see if there's. I know there's more. See if I can find it. Oh, I think this is good. I created. This is for the show. I'm sorry. I just, gave you everything up front. No, there's more. There's more. So we're looking at like an opening monologue. It's like, I've been seeing, I didn't talk about this at the beginning. Sorry, it's in the middle, but here it is. I've been seeing a place in my mind. At first, I called it a university because I did not have another word for it. People would come there to learn. There would be classes, instructors, projects, housing, food, research, and experimentation. But the more I looked at it, the more I realized that it was not really a university. It was a community doing what communities were always supposed to do. The people who know how to build teach the people who want to learn. The people who understand animals teach animal care. The ones that grow food teach gardening. Someone raises sheep. Someone turns the wool into yarn. Someone else weaves it. An artist designs the finished product. A marketer sells it. The income comes back and supports everyone who helped create it. Every class builds something the community actually needs. You do not take a class about housing and then go home with debt and a piece of paper. The class builds a house. You do not study water systems only in a book. The class creates the water systems. You do not write an essay about renewable energy. You build the systems that power the community. The students are not customers consuming education. They are participants creating the place where they live. And when the class is finished, the result remains. The house remains, the greenhouse remains, the water system remains, the food remains, the knowledge remains. Then the people who learned it can teach the next group. What would happen if we built an entire community that way? Not a commune where everyone follows one person. Not an uncontrolled place where thousands of people show up and camp. Not a survival bunker built around fear. A carefully designed, self-sustaining community built around contribution, learning, nature, invention, ethical care, and controlled growth. I want to show you what it could look like. So the project, again, is not about escaping civilization. It's remembering how to build one. And every single one of you have the blueprint for this. Every single one of you. So what is this project really trying to solve? Modern systems often separate the parts of life that naturally belong together. People attend school in one place, work somewhere else, buy food produced by people they never met, live in homes they do not know how to repair, and depend on distant systems for water, power, heat, transportation, and waste removal. Many people spend years studying without learning how to provide the basic necessities of life. They may graduate knowing how to pass an examination, but not knowing how to grow food, build and use natural cooking systems, preserve a harvest, repair a wall, produce clean water, generate power, care for animals, build shelter, sew clothing, resolve conflict, organize a community, create a product, operate a business, teach another person what they know. The Living Earth Project brings these parts of life back together. It does not reject advanced knowledge, science, technology, medicine, engineering, business, or higher education. It asks a more practical question. How can knowledge become useful enough to sustain life, strengthen people, and leave something valuable behind? So, education that leaves physical evidence. Every major educational program should produce a visible result. At the end of a housing program, there should be housing. At the end of an agricultural program, there should be food. At the end of an energy program, there should be usable power. At the end of a textile program, there should be finished products. At the end of a water program, there should be a safer and more efficient water system. At the end of a business program, there should be an operating business, a customer base, a product line, or a sales team. At the end of an instructor development program, there should be another capable teacher. You guys, isn't this freaking awesome? The evidence of learning is not only a grade. The evidence is that something works. And this is something that I feel is very, very important. Very important is no useless work. Now, have you gone to a university and it's like, I want this degree at your university? Oh, wonderful. I'm glad you want to overpay for something you're never going to use later. So, while you're here, in order to get this degree, you've got to take all these classes that are not related to your degree at all. Like, what? What do you mean? I've got to take a class on political science, and I came here for underwater basket weaving, is what I wanted to get my degree in. Why do I have to take political science? That doesn't make any sense. So here, there's not going to be any useless work, unless you want to do it. None of my business. But a central principle of the project is that time and effort should create lasting value whenever possible. Does not mean every experiment will succeed, because some prototypes will fail. And that's the point, that this allows a space to try and to experiment and be okay to fail. Some crops will not grow as expected. Some building materials will prove unsuitable. Some power systems will not produce enough energy. Some business ideas will not sell. Failure is still valuable when it is documented honestly. The community would record what is attempted, why it was attempted, what materials were used, the cost, what worked, what failed, what should be changed, whether the ideas should be tested again. The project would not hide unsuccessful experiments to protect its image. The failures may become some of its most important lessons. In the community, it could represent a living library. You guys. Oh, hey, Lorraine. My friend Teeny has a similar planner vision. I knew it, Lorraine. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. This is what I'm saying. It's exciting because I have a blueprint, and all of you guys have a blueprint as well. And your blueprint is probably a little different than mine because you were meant to do something else and something different. Let's pretend like we all come together. We all have different, slightly different blueprints, and we come together in this community. It's still going to work because the overall structure is the same. Your blueprint's a little bit different because you're going to go take charge of this and that over there. That's what you're going to do. That's how you do it. And I see all these blueprints coming together because everybody comes together and knows what their part is by the time they get there. And what I see my job is basically going, hey, where do you see yourself? Okay, go over there and do it. And just making sure it's all coordinated. Oh, you've come in. What's your skills and abilities? Let's see. So has a similar plan or vision, starting an ethical community where everybody plays, works, contributes, and creates. Yes, I want to work with the animals or water. Oh, that'd be awesome. Hey, Lorraine, when that billionaire comes up and wants that tax deduction, and we get that infrastructure going, hey, come on in. let's you go build your place. You go find your place. It's not even created yet. I mean, think of how awesome that is. Your place is not even created yet. It's there waiting for you to create it. And here's what I found in life: when it's time, the team arrives. So if Lorraine, you're like coming in with all of these wonderful ideas, the people that might be, the strong backs and the muscles and all of that are going to show up to help in this. Oh my God. This is so exciting. Okay. The community as a living library. The project would build a growing library of practical knowledge. This library would include construction plans, material tests, water system diagrams, seed records, growing calendars, animal care manuals, energy production data, repair instructions, class recordings, instructor guides, business models, product designs, community agreements, safety procedures, food preservation methods, recipes, textile patterns, research reports, interviews with skilled elders and tradespeople. Do you like the word elder? Is that okay? The knowledge should not, again, I had AI help me to write this, but it's all my ideas. I just had AI organize it so I could present it to you. And it's not how I normally present information, where it's like, oh, I forgot about this, and what I lost my train of thought. I wanted to present this information a little better. So, let's see. The knowledge should not disappear when one experienced person leaves or dies. People who have spent a lifetime learning farming, construction, cooking, sewing, animal care, mechanical repair, herbal traditions, wilderness skills, or other practical subjects carry libraries inside of them. The project creates a place where that knowledge can be demonstrated, recorded, tested, preserved, and passed forward. The role of elders. Again, you guys cool with elders? I mean, we can use whatever terms we want. Older people should not be treated as if their usefulness has ended. Many carry decades of knowledge that cannot be replaced by a short online course. An older participant may not be able to perform heavy construction, but that person may know how to recognize weather changes, how to preserve food, how to repair clothing, how to calm an animal, how to organize a household, how to stretch limited supplies, how to make a recipe without written instructions, how to identify a mistake before it becomes expensive, how to teach patiently, and how to guide younger people through conflict. And think about that in a community where you've got ones that are older, and you've got teenagers there that get during those ages. It's going to be wonderful to have a community that supports that teenager through those rough years. Or me at 56. See, the project should create meaningful roles for elders as instructors, advisors, historians, designers, caretakers, hosts, mentors, and guardians of accumulated knowledge. People should not lose their place in society because their physical capacity changes. The role of younger people. Younger participants bring energy, new ideas, technology ability, curiosity, adaptability, and the willingness to change methods that no longer work. They should not be expected merely to obey older systems. They should be encouraged to ask, can this be built more safely? Can it use less water? Can it produce less waste? Can this process be automated? Can the design be simplified? Can the information be shared more clearly? Can this product reach more people? Can an old method and a new technology be combined? The purpose is not to place one generation above another. It is to combine memory with imagination. Oh my gosh, I'm getting chills again. I can't freaking wait. Hey, Lorene. Yes, I'm 63. Elders has an inherent respect built in it. Awesome. Awesome. We'll use elder. I don't know if I want to be called that, but yes, we'll use it for you, Lorene. Oh man, 63 years young. See, a place for different kinds of minds. Not everyone person learns well by sitting still, by reading long textbooks or memorizing information, or even taking timed tests. Some people understand a system when they can see it. Some need to touch the materials. Some need to take it apart. Some need to watch someone perform the task. Some need to repeat it several times. Some understand the entire structure before they understand the individual steps. Some notice patterns, inefficiencies, design problems, animal behavior, environmental changes, or mechanical relationships that other people miss. The Living Earth Project should be designed for different forms of intelligence. A person who's struggled in a conventional classroom may prove exceptional at water systems, spatial design, animal communication, pattern recognition, machinery, plant health, construction, blacksmithing, food preparation, inventing tools, organizing. You guys, we've got to have a blacksmith and blacksmith class. Could you imagine having a blacksmith on the property? And, all those, and instead of you going and buying something on Amazon, you manufacture it yourself. It's like, hey, I want to put a light outside of the door. And you've got the metal framework with a blacksmith. Wouldn't that be so freaking awesome to be able to do all of this yourself and be independent with metal and making tables and making furniture? Oh my God, I'm so excited. Okay. So inventing tools, organizing supplies, creating efficient routines, teaching through demonstration. The community should not begin by asking what is wrong with someone. It should ask, what does this person naturally notice, understand, create, or improve? Also, dignity without uniformity. Equality does not require every person to perform the same work, receive the same housing at the same time, or possess the same abilities. A functioning community recognizes differences without creating a system of human worth based on status. A person may contribute through physical labor. One might teach, another might design systems, someone else might cook, another one might manage the financial records, another one might care for children, animals, gardens, guests, or people recovering from illness. Contribution should be understood broadly enough to include different ages, bodies, skills, and levels of physical capacity. The objective is not forced sameness. The objective is meaningful participation with dignity. So, private space, I know you were wondering about this, because when we all come together to form a community, how does this work? So, private space and community space. Community living should not mean the loss of privacy. People require different amounts of interaction, noise, stimulation, quiet, and solitude. The physical design should include clear private living areas, shared areas that people may choose to use, quiet zones, social zones, adult only areas where appropriate, family areas, work areas, rest areas, guest areas, space for animals, space for private reflection, areas where events and classes do not disturb residents. Shared living should be an available structure, not an excuse to remove personal boundaries. The architecture itself should help prevent unnecessary conflict. So, health, rest, and human capacity. A self sustaining community cannot survive by exhausting its people. Work should not become a moral competition where the most exhausted person is considered the most devoted. That sounds like the Baptist, you guys. That's how I grew up. And someone just said that you can't hear me and was asking if anybody else could hear me. Hey V, I think people have been commenting, and I think they can hear me. And again, I don't know what advice to give you, V. Sometimes if you leave and come back, you've got sound. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope I'm still broadcasting. Oh my goodness. Let's see. The community would need practical systems for reasonable work periods, rest and recovery, injury prevention, accessible tools, ergonomic workspaces. Are you okay, Puffy? Okay. Heat and cold safety, hydration, nutrition, medical emergencies, mental and emotional support, temporary reduction of duties, pregnancy and postpartum needs, disability accommodation, aging, care during illness, and because people are not machines. A sustainable community must also sustain the human body. So that's very, very important. So all of these are very important key components. Can you guys still hear me? Oh my goodness. Let me la 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 la. Just testing for if you can hear me or not. And yay, thank you, Lorene. Okay. I'm so sorry, V. I don't know how to help you. See if it will. A lot of the times it just works itself out, and after a few seconds, people can hear. So let's see. Children and families. If families live within the project, children should experience learning as a part of real life. Their education could include age appropriate participation in gardening, cooking, animal care, art, music, building models, water testing, seed saving, natural observations, storytelling, basic business, repair, sewing, food preservation, local history, science, mathematics used in real projects. Children should not be used as labor or placed in dangerous environments. Their participation should be educational, protected, supervised, and appropriate to their development. They should see adults solving real problems, producing real necessities, cooperating across generations, and taking responsibility for the effects of their choices. So, relationship with the surrounding communities, because yay, oh, wonderful. Oh, no worries, V. I'm glad you got it fixed. I'm glad you're here. And I would encourage you to start from the beginning if you're interested in the project. I'm giving you, this might not be the most compelling, video I've ever done, but I'm giving you all the information. All the information. I think it's important. If you don't, then you're in the wrong place. So, let's see. Relationship with the surrounding community, wherever this property happens to be, whether it's purchased, donated, or whatever. We're going to be dealing with people outside of our community, and how do I see handling that? The Living Earth Project should not isolate itself from nearby towns, residents, emergency services, businesses, farmers, tribal communities, local governments, or landowners. It should aim to become a responsible and useful neighbor. Possible local partnerships could include purchasing materials from nearby businesses, hiring regional tradespeople, supporting local farmers, sharing emergency resources, offering public workshops, hosting seasonal markets, providing meeting spaces, supporting watershed restoration, creating local employment, cooperating with fire mitigation, participating in road maintenance, excuse me, helping preserve regional skills and history. The project should not arrive with the attitude that it has come to replace or correct everyone already living in the area. It should listen before it builds. Respect for the land. The land is not simply a platform on which buildings are placed. Before development begins, the project should study water movement, flood zones, fire risk. This is all standard, you guys, for building stuff. Wildlife corridors, soil conditions, existing plant communities, erosion, snow accumulation, wind patterns, sun exposure, seasonal access, geological stability, cultural and historical significance, carrying capacity. Some areas should remain undeveloped. Some should be restored, and some only used during certain seasons. A large property does not mean every acre should be occupied. The project should become more beautiful, fertile, stable, and biologically diverse because people are living there and not less. Beauty is part of sustainability. Sustainable design is often presented as if it must look unfinished, improvised, unattractive, or uncomfortable. That is unnecessary. The project should demonstrate that natural and efficient living can also be beautiful, refined, clean, comfortable, architecturally distinctive, desirable, peaceful, luxurious where appropriate. Beauty encourages care. People tend to protect what they value. A well-designed building, garden, tool, textile, package, meal, guest room, or public space communicates that the work matters. The project should not look deprived in order to prove that it's ethical. Technology with a purpose. The project does not need to reject technology. It needs to decide which technology serves life and which technology creates unnecessary dependency. Useful technology might include water sensors, soil monitoring, renewable energy controls, automated greenhouse systems, weather stations, digital design, mapping, inventory systems, remote education, telemedicine, security systems, emergency communications, manufacturing equipment, data collection, media production. Technology should support human capability rather than eliminate knowledge. A person should understand the basic system when a computer helps operate it. So, documenting the entire build, you guys. All of this is going to be documented because it's going to be repeated. This is going to be a prototype for how do we do this. This is going to be an experimental community as well. That's why it's going to be filled with autistic people. And that's all we do is think about what about this? What about that? All the possibilities. And you would have the land, the resources, the space to do all of this. How exciting. Documenting the entire build. The creation of the project should be documented from the beginning. Searching for land, evaluating the water, designing the legal structure, creating the first temporary shelter, if you want to call it a reality show. We're going to be showing people what we're doing in real time as we're doing it, and hopefully we'll, bring in some form of a profit and an income from showing the public as well. So they'll come in here and they'll see that, oh, you've got a blacksmith and you're making, and I love those lights that you have hanging outside on the house. It's right outside the door, that looks spectacular. I would love to buy those. And then all of a sudden you've got a market for something you didn't know people even wanted. And now we've got another income source for the community or university, whatever it ends up being. Installing sanitation, building the first greenhouse, testing the first construction material, making mistakes, solving conflicts, producing the first food, hosting the first guest, selling the first community made product. You guys will make this so exciting to the outside world that they will just come there in droves and give us all their money so that we can build another section. So, selling the first community made product. Oh my gosh, how cool. Completing the first permanent home. This documentation should become a continuing show, documentary series, educational courses, books, construction guides, research records, investor reports, training materials, and a historical archive. The audience should not see only the polished final result. They should be allowed to understand how something this large is actually created. A project that can be replicated. The ultimate goal is not necessarily to build one enormous community and place everyone inside of it. The original site can serve as a working prototype. This is exciting. Once systems are proven, parts of the model could adapt for small rural communities, urban neighborhoods, schools, farms, retreat centers, disaster recovery areas, senior communities, transitional housing, tribal lands, private estates, international development projects, existing towns seeking greater independence. Not every location will have mountains, flowers, water, or hundreds of acres. The transferable principle is use education to build the systems the people actually need. So, legal and organizational structure. The final legal structure would require professional planning and could include several connected entities. For example, the land holding entity owns or protects the land and prevents it from being casually sold or divided. The operating organization manages education, community programs, construction, agriculture, and daily operations. The hospitality business, it operates guest accommodations, retreats, dining and visitor experiences. The research and development entity develops building systems, energy designs, materials, inventions, and intellectual property. The community foundation receives grants, philanthropic support, equipment, land, and mission aligned contributions. Member owned and or worker owned businesses produces textiles, food, art, building materials, media, or other goods. Separating these functions may protect the land, improve accountability, reduce risk, and allow each operation to be managed appropriately. The structure should be designed before large numbers of people become involved. Financial transparency. Money can destroy trust when people do not understand where it goes. The project should provide clear reporting on land costs, construction costs, salaries, housing, food, equipment, revenue, donations, hospitality income, product sales, research spending, reserves, debt, ownership, payments to related companies, compensation of leadership. Major contributors should understand that their supports built, what their supports built. Residents should understand how the internal economy functions. And you guys, we would make it a class too. We could make all of this classes. So people will become proficient in all of this. And it's not just a report. Oh, yes, transparency, you see the report. Do you know how all of that happened? Let's have a class and see where we got to the report. And so let's see. The project should be able to show results. What early funding would actually do. And this is, I guess, an appeal to a billionaire out there, a multi-billionaire who's looking for a tax write-off. So let me get a better picture. I do like that picture, but there we go. There we go. What early funding would do. In other words, if the billionaire wants their tax deduction right now, we can start right now. The first substantial funding would not be used to create the complete vision immediately. It would establish the foundation that makes everything else possible. In other words, you can't build a community if you don't have a good foundation. So early funding, what that would do would be to help maintain a. What are you? Oh, get all bent out of shape. You can't even see it. The door's not even open. Oh, I think it's the person picking up my trash. So here we go. Early funding could support land search and evaluation, or if it's donated land, evaluation. So, water rights and environmental research, surveying, legal and organizational design, master planning, emergency access, fire mitigation, initial water systems, sanitation, temporary shelters, the first geodesic structures, workshops and equipment storage, a central kitchen, renewable power prototypes, the first growing systems, the first shared earth home, documentation and media production, insurance, skilled staff, safety and medical preparation. A major benefactor would be able to see exactly which permanent systems were created through the funding. Let's see, the first people required before opening participation broadly, a small founding team would be needed. The initial group could include the visionary founder. I'd have to be there. I don't think you guys would. I mean, you do what you want, but I would like to be there. Let's see, a project director, a land use attorney, a financial and organizational advisor, an architect, a civil engineer, a water specialist, a natural building specialist. And some of these could be one person, could do multiple things because this is like 40,000 people. So let's see, agricultural planner, a renewable energy specialist, a construction manager, a safety and emergency planning professional, a media documentation team, a community systems designer, and an experienced hospitality operator. These people would not need to remain in permanent control. Their job would be to turn the vision into a lawful, safe, buildable, financially understandable first phase. So here's what I'm seeing. You guys, I'm just putting it all out there. I'm just putting all of this out there. So here is the first year. The first year could focus on preparation rather than population. The first year goals: establish the legal entities, define the mission and non negotiable principles, identify land criteria, evaluate possible properties, confirm water availability and rights, develop a preliminary master plan, establish financial controls, create safety procedures, build the public identity, assemble professional advisors, design the initial participation model, identify the first research projects, develop the first housing prototype, begin documenting the process. The project becomes more credible by resisting the urge to invite large numbers of people before the foundation exists. So, and we're going to be documenting it, you guys. People can watch what we're doing and not have them on the land. So people will be able to participate from the beginning, at a distance where it's safe at the beginning before we have all the structures in place. See, the first physical campus does not need to contain every system. This is the first physical build. It needs to prove the method. A strong first build might contain one central operation structure, several high-quality temporary housing domes, shared sanitation and bathing, a commercial, not together, you guys. When I read that, it was like the way that it was written, that AI wrote it. It was like, oh my God, that's not what I said. And anyway, a place where, you don't have to have a shower in every unit to start. You have one shower and we all take turns. That's what I mean. We take turns showering. This is not a cult. This is where we're not going to have a big enough shower for two, if you know what I mean. One person only shower. Take your turns. So, okay. So a shared sanitation and bathing, a commercial or community kitchen, a workshop, tool and material storage, a greenhouse, a water treatment demonstration, small solar microgrid, a limited wind or hydroelectric prototype where appropriate, a garden, a small ethical animal care system, the first shared, there he goes, the first shared earth home under construction. So just get it started. That is enough to begin teaching, documenting, testing, hosting selected guests, not just anybody at this point, selected guests, and producing value. Let's see, the first classes. Does this make sense to you guys? Is it as cool as beans or what? Oops, I keep doing that. I keep clicking the wrong thing. There we go. The first class is the initial classes should directly support survival, safety, and construction. Possible opening programs include reading the land, water collection and treatment, temporary shelter systems, natural sanitation, basic solar power, tool safety. So these are the ones that are pioneers. The ones that are going to be on the campus first are going to be the pioneers. And then after that are the people that, definitely want a toilet, some running water, and food already available, and a place where they can come and have some creature comforts. There's going to be a lot of people, so that'll be probably like phase 2. But these are the pioneers, the ones that get in, and it's like, I'd like to build something from the ground up. That's who's going to be doing this stuff. So we've got to do water collection and treatment. Oh, I read that. Who may participate? Participation should not be based only on wealth, academic credentials, social status, or physical strength. Selection could consider relevant skills, genuine willingness to learn. So if you've got the aptitude and you want to learn, you can come without some skills and learn as you go. And you could also bring some skills with you. Ability to work with others, respect for safety. This is not going to be, home for wayward, teenagers or whatever. It's like you got to have a little something before you get there, and then we'll develop. So this is not, we've got lots and lots of problems, so let's go to this campus. No. We're not digging everybody out of the ditch, although you might feel like you're in a ditch in some places, and this helped you to feel whole again. But we're not going to be attracting problem people here. So the ability to work with others is important, not perfection. I mean, it's like, oh, I'm autistic, nobody likes me. Yes, but did you punch anybody in the throat? Well, no. You'll be fine. You will be. We'll figure this out. Respect for safety. Man, the stories I've heard. Respect for personal boundaries. Reliability. Emotional maturity. It's okay if you lack some development, but we want to start in a good place. Specific project needs. Available housing. The ability of the community to support the person appropriately. Some people may attend one class. Some may complete a seasonal residency. Some may become instructors. Some may operate businesses. Some may become long-term residents. Not every participant must follow the same path. What the community does not promise, and this is very important, what the community does not promise. Let's see. To remain honest, the project should not promise immediate permanent housing for everyone, a life without work, a life without rules, complete freedom from money, perfect agreement with everybody, immediate self-sufficiency, guaranteed healing, unlimited access to land, ownership simply because someone participated, protection from every emergency, and that the experiment will succeed. The natural systems require no maintenance. These are things that we cannot expect. And that the community life solves every personal problem. The project offers participation in building something real. It does not offer fantasy. Now, why people would come? Why would people come to this community? Why would you want to live there or visit? People may come because they want to learn practical skills, build a home, work with the land, leave an unhealthy lifestyle, participate in meaningful work, test an invention, teach what they know, live near animals, produce food, build a business, become less dependent, find community without surrendering individuality, create something that will remain after them, help develop a model future generations can use. Different motivations can coexist as long as behavior remains aligned with the shared principles. Now, why would people visit? Why would people visit? Hold on, did I show you all the pictures? Let me see if I can find some cool pictures to put up here. Oh, that's cool. That's a lot of. I don't know if I would be in that position though. Like, I think I would have stuff raised. I would do the indoor stuff where it's raised. Wait, where's the indoor stuff? Like this. Well, hold on. There we go. There we go. Isn't that better? Oh, wait. Who designed this place? Okay. Who wants to come to this community and design this indoor space better where no one's bending over? Then come design it and we'll put it together. It's like, I don't want to bend over to do this. And that's why we're building it ourselves. Is we're going to design it in a way that makes sense, so that someone like me that's not going to be bending over all day, pulling weeds. I can do stuff at waist level. I can reach it. It's not going to hurt anything, and then I would be able to do stuff longer because everything's at waist level. And someone else is like, I don't mind bending over. It's good exercise. So all of us would have something to do. So why people would visit? Think about a place like this on a land. Oh my gosh, how cool is this? Visitors would come because the project offers something difficult to experience elsewhere. They could see in one location natural architecture, experimental building systems, renewable power, ethical agriculture, indoor food production, water recovery, artisan manufacturing, community education, mountain hospitality, research in progress, a functioning alternative economy. The property becomes both a destination and a demonstration. People do not only hear someone describe a different future, they stay inside of it. Now, why would people support this? People may support the project for different reasons. Some will care about education, housing. Some might care about the environment restoration, animals. Some might want to invent. Some might care about preserving traditional knowledge. Some will care about disability access. And some will care about food security, creating a legacy. A strong project does not require every supporter to share the same personal philosophy. It gives them a credible way to support a measurable part of the work. So, we've got named funding opportunities without turning the project into an advertisement. Major support could eventually be connected to specific permanent systems. Examples are a water research center, a renewable energy laboratory, a natural building institute, a seed preservation facility, a textile traditional skills center, a community kitchen, a scholarship residency, a wildlife restoration area, a guest earth home, a medical and safety facility, a documentary archive, a library of practical knowledge. Recognition can be offered without allowing the project to become controlled or by branding or ego. A contributor may help build a system. They do not purchase the community's principles. So the founder's role. The founder's role to the entire vision. The founder's role is to hold the central vision, communicate it, identify the relationships between the systems, and prevent the project from becoming an ordinary development that uses sustainable language only as marketing. The founder does not need to personally engineer every water line, construct every building, grow every crop, or teach every class. The founder's responsibility is to continue asking, does this serve the central purpose? Does it create lasting value? Does it respect the people? Does it respect the land? Can it support itself? Can it be taught? Can it be improved? Can it be measured? Can it be replicated? That's the important part. Can it be replicated? Does it preserve individual freedom? Are we building a system that remains useful after the original founder is gone? The project must eventually be stronger than any single personality. That is how the vision survives. So, the invitation. This project begins as an idea. And we've got some really good ideas here. So it begins as an idea. Then the idea becomes a plan. The plan identifies the land. The land determines the systems. The systems create the classes. The classes build the community. The community produces knowledge, food, shelter, power, products, businesses, and new instructors. Then those people carry what they learned into other places. One person may see a mountain property. Another may see a water system. Another may see a better building material. Another may see a school, a refuge, a research center, a destination. Another may see the first working model of a society built around a human ability instead of human dependency. All looking at the same product. And the final vision is, imagine arriving at a place surrounded by mountains. A stream moves through the land and helps supply water and power. Food grows inside and outside the buildings. The homes warm and cool themselves through intelligent design. Animals live in environments created around their actual needs. Workshops are producing tools, textiles, art, food, building materials, and new inventions. People of different ages are teaching one another. A class is constructing a home. Another is restoring soil. Another is testing a power system. Another is preserving seeds. Another is turning wool into a finished product. Visitors are staying in the homes that earlier classes helped build. The revenue from their stay supports the next project. The food served to them was grown on the property. The table was built in the workshop. The dishes were created by an artist. The fabric was woven from wool produced by animals cared for on the land. The package in the store was designed by someone who arrived believing they had nothing useful to contribute. Nothing exists by itself. Every person, every system, every class, every building, product, and source of revenue connects with another part of the community. That's the design. Not independence through isolation, but independence through intelligent connection. We've been taught that education happens before life begins. First you study, then someday you may be allowed to participate. But human beings learned for thousands of years by living beside people who knew how to do something. They watched, they helped, they practiced, they made mistakes. They became capable. Then they taught someone else. The Living Earth Project brings that process into a deliberate modern structure. It combines inherited knowledge with new invention, It combines private life with community contribution. It combines environmental responsibility with beauty and comfort. It combines education with housing, agriculture, hospitality, manufacturing, research, media, and business. It does not ask people to abandon the modern world. It asks what the modern world has forgotten and what should be built next. This is not a finished answer. It is a place designed to keep producing better answers. This is not a plan for people to escape society. It's a plan for people to remember how society is made. And it begins with one question: what if everything we needed to learn also built everything we needed to live? So thank you guys so much. Thank you for taking the time to look at this project and all the components of the project for whatever reason. If you're looking at to contribute, if you're like, hey, I'm a billionaire and multimillionaire, and I might not have done the best things in life, and I'm getting a little older. I don't think I'm going to do anything different, but I feel bad for all the crappy stuff I did in life and how many people I hurt with my money and my attitude. I don't want a person like this contributing. But it's like, I can cleanse my soul by contributing to a project that's going to help humanity at the end of my life, and maybe I'll get to heaven. Anyway. Check this out. So whether you want to contribute massive amounts of money getting this started, or whether you want to live there and teach a class, or it's like, hey, I just moved out of my house. I know nothing, but I want to learn. I want to go do stuff. This would be a good place for you. A wonderful place. Check it out. Where everybody can be a part of this in all of these systems. How cool is this? And we'll have electricity and the internet and things like that, but in this community we would offer things like art, theater, instead of mindless scrolling. And think about that. If you had a theater, and instead of going home and it's like, okay, what's on TV or what am I going to watch on Netflix, you would have community members putting on plays and projects and events and so forth. How cool is that? And we'll do it ourselves. And look, this is one of those geodomes, which is pretty much phase one of the project. We would be living temporarily in these geodomes at the beginning, and have shared shower and so forth, shared bathroom and shower and stuff. And we would have our own privacy. Individual places to sleep and so forth. But this is what we would do. We would where we would live, and then after the initial phase, and we have actual housing like the earth ships and so forth. Then these will be turned into places like this. I've got this vision, and I hope someone a lot smarter than myself who either has experience or has a degree in this would be awesome to come into one of these geodomes and create a stream type system, like a lazy river at Wet and Wild, kind of like a lazy river for salmon, and create it in a way that's natural, it's sustainable, and that we're not going to be dealing with parasites with our fish and all of these systems. How do they grow together? I see it in my mind. So you've got moving water in the system, and it can be gravity fed. You can have a gravity fed system and have water movement. And then pockets that you don't have a lot of movement where they can go and have families and make babies and stuff. and it's all natural and according to their natural habitat, and it's dug into the ground. You dig this into the ground, so now we've got a system that no matter what time of the year, it'll be easier to maintain the temperature. Building this into the ground, easier maintenance. So this is just thrilling for me to have wonderful community spaces where we can come, cafeteria style eating if that's what's going on. A kitchen that you can go into and cook, and we can also have meals for the community made out of the kitchen as well. It's like, well, I don't want the community meal. And, I'm going to just make a little something for myself. We'll have an area definitely at the beginning for all of that, and it may or may not continue. When we have the individual units, you're going to be cooking inside of your home when all of the earthships are built and all. But this is a wonderful way for us to come together and eat together if that's what makes sense. Feed everybody at one time. And then individuals, again, can go in there and make their own food and do whatever you want. We develop whatever system makes sense to us. So if you're like, oh, I'm a student here, or I'm teaching here, or I've got some place I'm in hospitality, whatever it is, we would have a system where you could go into hold on, where's pictures? Wait, that's outside. We'll do this one over here. Like, you can come in here and just you would know the rules. It's like, hey, those are still growing over there. Don't pick them yet. They're not ready. But over here, these are ready for picking. You would already know that. You just go over and pick your own food. Or, as we progress, we'll have like a grocery store type of facility where things may already be picked, or the grocery store might actually be in the front of this. And the person that's manning it will go pick it for you. When you buy it, we'll have a system that does make sense. If it's all on, food safety, everybody's safety, if we allow the public in places like this, or if we go ahead and pick the foods that we know are going to sell and bringing them in there, and it would be a convenient place where someone who's on the property in the community and is allowed to eat the food, freely eat the food without cost, or money, I guess. They worked on the property. So they can either go pick their own food or go to the grocery store and get the food there. But the grocery store is mainly designed to sell to the public. Like, the public could come there almost like a farmer's market that you would have all the time, and the public is welcome. You could have tours and so forth, and get income from the surrounding areas and support that. And let's say you have a paid position, or someone is like, hey, my contribution to the community is that I am going to be the cashier at the grocery store or the farmer's market. I'll do the cashier, stocking the farmer's market, or whatever. That could be part of your contribution. And then we would not have to go out into the community and hire people and spend money that way, that we would have to figure out how we're going to make that money to hire somebody. So the more that we can contribute and eat our own food, utilize everything that we create, we don't have bills every month. We're not having to pay bills every month, and we're getting money coming in. So think about that. Your contribution basically pays for your housing with your contribution. The housing, the electricity, and all the amenities. And then we sell stuff on top of that to grow our community, or to support things that may or may not be sustainable. We want at least 95% of everything we do to be sustainable, self-sustaining, and then some might require outside money, but we don't want to be dependent upon that. And we would use that for opportunities that are not sustainable. In other words, we rely on this outside money to continue to pay for this every month. What if the money doesn't come in? Then there's a service or something that's needed in the community that we don't have. So for me, the things that are on a daily basis, let's do ourselves, the money that comes in, let's grow our community with the money. Money, but it's not guaranteed it continues to come in. Business decisions. Let's see. Oh, you're welcome, Lorene. I hope this works out for you guys. Yeah, V, isn't this cool? So we were talking about autism and the link between, alien DNA sequencing, people who are autistic, and researchers have come out and said that the DNA is different. That maybe, your eye color, your hair color, and how tall you are, and so forth. What shape your nose is going to be. All of that appears to look like the parents. But there's a lot of stuff that is alien DNA, like the ability to read people's minds and take control of people's minds, know and see the future, and so forth. So I'm looking at the concept that has been proposed and predicted that basically autistic people or alien hybrids are going to break away from the initial or the society that's in place, non-player characters, whatever you want to call it. It's not working with us. This isn't working, and it's not sustainable. We're not going to make it in a society that's against us and doesn't allow space for us. And at this point, if you have different statistics, tell me. But something that used to be like 1 in 100,000 or so is now down to like 1 in 40. So we've got a large chunk of the population that is not being acknowledged in a way that we would like to be acknowledged and express ourselves in a world that makes no sense to us, and we have no way of reinventing it or helping it or fixing it or whatever we're here to do. We've got genius ideas, in a world that rewards copying. Hey, we've always done it this way. Let's keep doing it. And that's rewarded. That's what education is. That's what the school systems are. And this system, like the university, if you want to think of it that way, we come in, we don't have unnecessary classes. And if you do something like you come take classes, you build some things, you do it for a while, it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. You go in, it's like, well, where do you want to, put all your efforts? These are people who do stuff anyway. You're always thinking of new concepts and ideas that never come to fruition. You're doing it all the time anyway. Why not get in a community where your ideas and inventions might actually become physical things in this civilization? So this is multi-purpose. The civilization is to help experiment to see what could happen that is better. Not that we come up with more space age and alien technology. But how can we pile dirt up better to make a better building? How can we do that? Like the Earth ships. You ever think about that? Earth ship is just creating a building, but a different way that's more sustainable, or to whatever you want. That's one way of doing it with tires and dirt and everything. And in Pennsylvania, I've got a friend in Pennsylvania. Her family, they've got lots of money, and they had this. I think wasn't it about 200 or 300 acres? I can't remember. It's a lot. And they had one of those houses that was like several hundred years old. That had 3 stories and a basement, and the basement was basically the refrigerator, and like a root cellar. It was cold down there, like a refrigerator. So in this house, this was in the middle of the summer when it was hot. I mean, it was ridiculously hot in Pennsylvania. So I'm in this house, and during the day, I really can't go upstairs much because it is kind of hot. If you open the windows though and get a breeze going, it was fine upstairs. But the living room area, what was on the first floor, it was cool. There was no air conditioning at all, and it was nice and cool down on that first floor. And the only reason it wasn't perfect is because they had added on, like where there was a door to the outside and all, they took off that door and that wall and created a modern sun porch. I think that was built probably around the 90s, 1990s, yeah, according to how it looks. And so they built on this sun porch that was hot as fuck. It was ridiculous. And so you had the opening of the door that you couldn't close. It was just kind of like an arched opening in between that living room and the sun porch. So that's the only reason that it wasn't 100% comfortable, is they had modified the original home. But if they had not, torn out that wall and put a sun porch there, it would have been just fine. So I did stay in a house that did not have air conditioning in the middle of summer, and it worked out. And it worked out. So I know you can do it. I know it's doable. And those houses were made with big stones, like stones and mortar. If you look at like the old farmhouses and so forth, they're all made out of stone. And they're designed in a way that you do not have to have heating and air conditioning. And that if you, well, when I say heating, it'd be nice to heat the house. But the house, it was designed where the fireplace, it went through all of the rooms up there. You had, there were 3 stories, but then you had like almost like an attic space where you could still put some beds up there and or do something, as well. So the words, oh my gosh, the chimney part, the fireplace is built on the first floor, and the chimney was kind of like boxed in like in a rectangular fashion against the wall, and it went all the way through all of the floors, where it kind of would come out a little bit into the room. It just looked like a wall that just came out into the room. That was it. So it's made of stones and everything, and then it went all the way to the roof and out where the smoke went out. Well, I was there in the summer, so I never lit the fire, but I saw how it was designed. It was designed to light a fire downstairs, and it will heat everything all the way up. So you'll have that heated place in the rooms above, and you can heat all the rooms at night that way. It was very efficient. I'm a genius. Absolute genius. No air was blown. I mean, those are modern systems where you've got a fireplace and you pass moving air, but that requires electricity. You've got moving air that goes across whatever's hot and it heats. No, this was just, I guess it would be radiant heat. It's just radiant heat. So it doesn't just have to be earth homes, which, we'll do the healing and cooling. We can have homes, underground like this. And we've got climate control. Maybe not this particular one that AI created, because we got glass all over the place, but the ones that are a little more underground, that you don't have to have electricity to heat and cool. The forced air systems and so forth. There's all kinds of ways by the structure itself will keep a consistent temperature. So thanks for hanging out. And I know this is a lot of information, but those of you out there that have your own blueprint, if you just arrived, start from the beginning and listen to the whole blueprint of this breakaway civilization and see if you relate to any part of it, and get with me. And let's see if we can get funding for this. If it's time, though, this is how it works. I'm not going to go force anything. I'm going to put the ideas out there. And when it's time, the funding will come. That billionaire out there that wants a tax write-off, he'll be like, oh my gosh, tax write-off time again. I'm tired of doing this as a tax write-off. I'm tired of doing that. It's like, oh, Kelly, what's she do? Oh, she's got a multi-million-dollar project she's working on there. She's never going to get that done if I don't contribute. And I would like to see what she does. Like, this isn't just one of those, it's finished and completed at the beginning projects. It's like, we're going to have so many inventors and creators in there. The finished product might be this wonderful adventure. I want to see what happens. So yeah, Mrs. Billionaire, Ms. Billionaire. You got my email down below. Let's get started on this project and build a different humanity, because it's time. The reason why is it's time. So, all right, you guys, thanks for hanging out. I hope you have an absolutely fantabulous day, and I'll see you on the next video.
Realm of dreams where the stars align. Kelly Coffee takes you on a ride divine. In her thought bubble we soar through the night. Exploring the universe, our vision takes flight. The symphony of galaxies fills the air. Come with me, let's ride on the cosmic breeze. With Kelly Coffee we'll journey through galaxies. In her God bubble we'll explore the unknown. A grand adventure like no other we